I prayed for love, and fate gave me the blind, cruel alpha, who only knew cruelty, but destiny had a darker plan. A Werewolf Romance audiobook written by Lyra Blake. Hello, my dear family. Before we dive into this story, I want to thank you for pressing play and joining me on this journey. This isn't just another story. It's a world of passion, betrayal, power, and destiny. In this story, you'll meet Leah, a young woman whose life is about to be torn apart and rebuilt in ways she never imagined. You'll cross paths with Alpha Alec, a man of ruthless strength and dangerous secrets, and face the storm that comes when love, loyalty, and power collide. This is the series 1 of the 4-series audiobook filled with danger, longing, heartbreak, and the burning question. When fate chooses for you, can you truly resist? So settle in, grab a drink, and prepare yourself. The story begins now. Prologue. Leah Indica had always been a nice, sweet, innocent girl. She helped anyone who needed it. It was her passion. She loved making people happy, and more importantly, she wanted a mate to make happy, to love, and to cherish. At 18, she found her mate. He was known as the most cold-hearted alpha in Romania. He had wiped away countless packs and had gone on killing sprees for fun. Leah tried to help him and be the best possible mate for him, even overlooking the fact that he was blind. But he never seemed to return her feelings. The only thing he cared about was his eyesight, which he could never get back. He often took his rage out on her when all she wanted was his love. She often wondered if she could possibly melt his cold exterior. She tried to help him in so many ways, but sometimes overwhelming love could consume a person. Chapter 1. Leah's 5-year-old brother ran into her room, jumping on her bed. "Leah, wake up. Today is mating day," he screamed. She woke to his brown eyes staring straight into hers. The annual pack mating ceremony was the only day when all the English packs in Romania united to find their mates. Every wolf who was 18 or still unmated had to attend. Most wolves found their mate at 18. Blake, her younger brother, who had grown attached to her, didn't understand what would happen if she found her mate today. She would essentially have to leave and join his pack if he held a high rank, but Leah herself was high-ranking. Her family had a strong bloodline of warriors. Even though her mother was a half-witch, she still carried the warrior bloodline from her father, Leah's grandfather. Leah's bloodline was considered pure because no one knew of her witch ancestry. She snapped out of her thoughts when she saw Blake pulling all her clothes out of the drawers. "Blake, what are you doing?" she asked. "I'm helping you pick clothes," he said. "Blake," she said, getting up and stopping him from making more of a mess. "I am wearing a dress today." "Why?" He looked puzzled. "It is a special day. I have to look my best." Leah already knew her mate wasn't in her pack. When she turned 18, a special celebration had been held in her honor. She had seen every pack member that day and hadn't found him. Her mom came in and announced that breakfast was ready. At that, Blake sprinted out of the room. Her mom had beautiful blonde hair just like hers, though streaked with a few gray strands. Her eyes were emerald green, the same as Leah's. Most of Leah's looks came from her. Leah stayed behind to straighten up her room before taking a quick shower and heading downstairs for breakfast. She and her dad were the last two at the table. "You know what today is, right?" he asked, dreading the question. How could she forget? Her family and pack had been bugging her about this event ever since she turned 18. Obviously, he meant the mating ceremony, which, for him, was basically like the human version of a wedding. "I know. But Dad, I'll always be your little girl," she said sincerely. "I know, Leah. I'm just worried. What if you get a bad mate?" he asked, clearly concerned. "I will be okay, Dad. I'm a warrior just like you and Mom," she exclaimed proudly, trying to ease the worry her father was feeling. She looked at her dark-haired father with brown eyes. "What about that Alpha Alec guy?" "You know he's going," he said uneasily. "Dad, his name is Alec." At this time, that was the most well-known name among shifters. Everyone knew not to mess with him because of his fierce reputation. Leah had learned many unsettling things about him in history classes since he was such a threat. The werewolves that made history books included him to educate others. Regardless of what she had read, she had never truly thought of him as a monster. He was probably just broken inside. No one was born a monster. You know he hasn't found his mate yet, she continued. For all we know, he probably killed her, he said. Leah's wolf immediately questioned why he would even attend the mating ceremony. Well, anyways, I better get ready, she said, heading upstairs. She marched upstairs in a hurry and bumped into Mark, the alpha's son. She would have fallen if Mark hadn't caught her. Wow, Leah, are you in a hurry or what? Eager to find your mate? He asked with a smirk. Maybe, she replied. Other than Xena, Mark was her best friend, mainly because they lived in the same house and were the same age. Alrighty. Well, I'll let you go, literally. He began to push her down the stairs, but brought her back with his impressive arm strength. She steadied herself and playfully punched him. Meanie, she muttered. When she got to her room, her mom followed right behind. Ready for today? She asked. Yup, Leah chirped. All right, well, let's get it done. Her mom pulled out the black and red skin-tight dress Leah had picked weeks ago, then brought out a curling iron and makeup. Leah groaned. She had never liked makeup, preferring natural beauty, and with clear skin, she didn't see the need. She didn't understand why female shifters even needed foundation. After an hour of curling her hair, her mom set up her makeup. Ew, Mom. No foundation. Leah held her hands up to protect her face. I never understood you, my child, her mom smiled, putting down the foundation. She accepted Leah's wishes and applied only eyeshadow, mascara, and lip gloss. The ceremony started at 11 a.m. Luckily, they weren't far. It was being held at the neighboring pack. Leah made herself a sandwich, suddenly feeling hungry again. She hugged Mark and Xena before heading out to the car. It was only her parents and her. The ride was silent until her dad spoke. Call us when you're ready to come home, okay? Uncle Jared will let you use his phone, or you could just stay the night. Okay, I think I left my phone at the house anyway. Leah's nerves were eating her alive. Are you okay? Her mom sensed her nervousness with her special abilities. Her gift successfully eased Leah's nerves. Yes, just worried. What if my mate doesn't like me, she admitted. Nonsense. You're beautiful, smart, talented, and I'm proud to have you as my daughter. Any man would be lucky to have you. Totally a mom answer, but Leah took it to heart. Plus, the mate bond is the strongest thing known to werewolves. When I met your mother, I could barely keep my hands off, her dad added. Barely? What are you talking about, Michael? You did not keep your hands off. That's just that. Her dad blushed slightly at her mother's teasing. But your mate better keep his hands off you. His face hardened. Her mom rolled her eyes. Mike, she's 18 now, her mom said. He huffed. I don't care. She's still my daughter. Yeah. Well, she's finding her mate today, so... Leah tuned out their conversation and focused on the beautiful countryside scenery. The rolling hills and golden fields would be perfect for a run. Exercise always cleared her mind and helped her think. Everyone in her pack thought she was crazy for her love of exercise, but werewolves had speed and strength far beyond humans. Why not take advantage of it? Her wolf yipped in her head, certain that her mate would be at the ceremony. Leah rested her head against the cold car door and drifted off. When they arrived, the party was already in motion. Werewolves were classy creatures. There was no loud high school-style music, drugs, or alcohol. The closest was a few females wearing revealing dresses, but that was to be expected at a mating ceremony. Her parents dropped her off, and Leah walked toward the pack house. She was very familiar with this land. She had spent her summer vacations here. Even so, it had changed a lot in just 2 years. Leah, what a delightful surprise. It's been a while since I last saw you. Luna Bethany greeted her warmly. She was the mate to the alpha hosting the party. Bethany had originally been in their pack and was best friends with Leah's mom in high school. Leah had missed her dearly, along with all the lovely pack members present. Aunt Bethany, Leah squealed, hugging her tightly. They had a lengthy conversation until Bethany's mate appeared behind her, sliding his arms around her waist. "Hey, Lella, how have you been?" Alpha Jared said, using the nickname he had created just for Leah. "Uncle Jay, I missed you," Leah replied, hugging him as well. Though they weren't her actual aunt or uncle, they had always acted like family. "All right, well, enjoy yourself, Lella," Uncle Jay said after their brief conversation. Duty called for him. It was tough when you had 7 children. Leah made her way toward the center of the party, keeping her eyes peeled for her mate. She noticed that most of the females had already found theirs. 2 hours passed, and all Leah had done was eat and drink. She was beginning to regret coming. Maybe she was simply mateless. Her wolf growled at the thought. It was kind of sad watching all the newly mated wolves socialize with each other. She huffed and marched upstairs to find the bedroom she had used while staying here, intending to use the bathroom. When she opened the door, she quickly shut it again. Someone had been in the room before her, and the scene made her uneasy. Even if werewolves threw classy parties, not all of them behaved with class. She knocked on the next room. Luckily, it was empty. After using the bathroom, she headed back downstairs. The chatter and music had gone eerily quiet. Her nerves spiked, and so did her wolf's. She finally saw the source of the commotion. A ruggedly handsome man had walked through the door. No music, no chatter, nothing. The silence was so intense that one could hear a pin drop. Everyone was staring at him, but Leah had a reason beyond curiosity for her gaze. He was her mate, flanked by 2 other men. Who was he? Whoever he was, he must be extremely powerful or notorious to make everyone stop and stare. Or perhaps it was his sheer looks. Handsome, no doubt. Her puzzled stare froze when he scented the air and turned his face toward her. Shifter said the first sighting of a mate was magical, and it was, if only for a few seconds. She recognized the scars over his eyes. His faded, blind brown eyes radiated a chilling intensity. He could not see her, but she could see him. She had never seen him in person, only in pictures from books. Yet his aura of power left no doubt about his identity. Her human side screamed to run, to get away. Her wolf urged her to stay. She was torn in half. She didn't want to be near him, having witnessed the aftermath of previous pack members who had ventured into his territory. She might not think he was a monster, but she knew what he was capable of. All eyes in the room followed his intense focus on her. Even though he couldn't see her, everyone else could. Soon, all eyes were on Leah. From the looks on some females' faces, she could tell jealousy simmered. She did not understand it. Alex's expression shifted from anger to something unreadable. Leah gained control of her feet and ran as fast as she could in her heels, attempting to escape. She knew it would probably be pointless, but it was worth a try. Halfway up the stairs, she heard conversation resume. She sighed in relief and locked herself in a random room, hiding in the bathroom. A pounding on the door made her heart skip a beat. She hadn't realized how terrified she truly was until now. She could hear feet shuffling outside. "Excuse me, miss? Can you please open the door?" A light, patient voice asked. It sounded almost pleading, as if trying to protect her from someone's wrath. Then came the shuffling followed by a loud banging. "Open the door now." A gruff voice made her shiver. She knew this was her mate. Chapter 2. Leah was scared and nervous, but she opened the door despite the pit of fear in her stomach. As soon as she did, Alex slammed her back against the wall, his presence overwhelming. Her heart pounded, so loudly she was certain he could hear it. One of the men accompanying Alex noticed her discomfort. "Alpha, we should be heading out now," the man said, touching Alex's shoulder. Alex's hand gripped Leah's wrist tightly. "You're coming with me, back to my pack," he stated. "No, I'm not," Leah forced out, struggling as his grip dug into her skin. "Ouch! You're hurting me. Let me go." The man gave her an apologetic look. "Alpha, you're hurting her." Alex finally released her, and Leah rubbed her wrist. "Okay, let me make this clear," Alex said, a sadistic smirk revealing his white teeth. "You either come with me, or I'll declare war and destroy your pack." You know I will. Leah's jaw dropped. Are you serious? This is absurd. Do I look like I'm joking? Alex's words left no room for doubt. I can't leave my family, Leah said, her voice trembling. You will, or else you'll have none. If you don't come, I'll harm your family, even down to the youngest one. Her mind immediately went to her goofy little brother, and a growl of anger rumbled through her wolf. Before she knew it, Leah's hand instinctively slapped his cheek. The man beside Alec gasped. Alec looked momentarily surprised, but then a devilish smirk returned. It's going to be like this, isn't it? Okay then, suit yourself, he said, holding out his hand as if expecting her to comply. Alpha. The man began, unsure, but Leah sensed something was off and cautiously backed up. Now Rem. Alec called, turning his gaze back to Leah. Where are you going, little mate? Rem handed a familiar white cloth to Alec. Leah's eyes widened. She knew what was coming. She tried to resist, but Alec was too strong. He pushed her gently to the ground, and she recognized the faint scent of a sedative. She struggled, but her body soon started to weaken. Tell Axe to get the car. She heard just before she lost consciousness. Leah awoke in a different environment. She was in a room with black walls. Black was her favorite color, but this place gave her no comfort. She was alone, which allowed her a moment to collect her thoughts. She couldn't believe Alec had kidnapped her. Her family and friends must be frantic. A knock at the door startled her. Alec entered, holding clothes in his hands. I have clothes for you, he said gruffly. Leah hesitantly approached and gathered them. Her eyes flicked to the mysterious scars on his face once more. How did you get them? She asked nervously. His face hardened. Don't speak, he said. Leah could sense that this was a sensitive subject. She knew the scars and blindness were the result of a legendary war years ago, though no one truly understood the cause. Give him a chance, her wolf whispered in her mind. I'm setting rules, Alec continued. I don't ever want a mate. Only my wolf does. Each word was carefully emphasized through gritted teeth, and Leah flinched at the force behind them. His declaration shook her wolf as well. Okay, she said softly. You aren't allowed to leave this house. You can't have contact with males except my beta Remy, and you can't reach out to your family or form a pack. Don't get your hopes up. You are only my mate by the goddess's choice. I am not falling in love with you. His words hit her hard. There was no mercy in them. Don't call me by my name. You call me Alpha. You have no say in pack matters. You are here only to make my wolf more powerful. You are not the official Luna of this pack. You never will be. His admission left Leah stunned. He was using her for power. No, you will not treat me like that. Her voice was firm, and she crossed her arms. And I don't care if you want a mate or not. I'm still going to act like one to you, whether you like it or not. Alec clenched his fists and flared his nostrils in anger. Honestly, you just need someone to show you what love is and how to care, Leah continued. Alec laughed darkly, as if she were joking. Do you really think you can help me? You're pathetic, like the rest of the women who thought they'd be the one, he sneered. Can't you see what's right in front of your face? You have a good mate who wants to help you. Oh wait, you can't see, she shot back angrily. He lunged for her, trying to grab her shirt, but her warrior reflexes saved her. His anger grew. He seized her and slammed her to the floor, knocking the wind out of her. She gasped for air. Then he lifted her and threw her onto the bed. She began breathing normally again, but the tension wasn't over. Alec's hands went to her neck, squeezing with incredible strength. You are lucky my wolf needs you. If he didn't, you'd suffer greatly, he hissed. Her vision blurred as black spots appeared. She clawed at his hands, trying to make him stop. Finally, he released her neck. She gasped and coughed violently, her body shaken from the force. I don't want a mate. I never have, and I never will. For all I care, you could just be punished. Alec hissed. How could you be so monstrous to your own mate? Leah questioned. He didn't provide her with an answer. Don't think about escaping. This pack is surrounded by miles of trees and guards posted at every corner. With that, he left. Leah broke down and cried softly, forgetting she was still wearing makeup until her mascara smeared. She couldn't believe this was happening to her. She had been taken away, losing her family, her freedom, and her pack all in one day. Her thoughts kept spiraling. Would she ever be able to see Blake again? Or her best friend Zena and Mark? Her parents and her other two brothers? She missed them so much already. She'd do anything to be with them. Suddenly, the sibling rivalry with her brothers didn't matter anymore. She realized how deeply she needed them beside her. She longed to see their smiles again. Next, she was consumed with guilt and embarrassment. Why didn't she fight back? Because he's your mate, her wolf claimed. She felt as though she had disgraced her family name. She was a warrior, not a weak she-wolf. Gathering the clothes from the floor, she went to take a shower. The hot water calmed her, easing her sore muscles. She didn't linger long because this was a new place, and she wanted to keep her guard up. Afterward, she walked back into the master bedroom and sat on the bed for a while. Her neck was sore and her back ached, so she lay down and allowed herself a brief nap. When Leah woke, she heard a low rumbling sound. It was her stomach. She was hungry. She got up and hesitantly opened the door. "Hello," she called out. No answer. She stepped into the hallway. The house was empty. Alec wasn't there, nor was anyone else. Eventually, she found the kitchen and pulled out pancake mix and eggs. She was halfway through cooking when she heard the door open. Assuming it was Alec, she turned, but instead came face to face with a dark brown-haired girl. The girl had the same hair color as Alec and brown eyes. Though Alec's eyes were faded with blindness, the resemblance was unmistakable. They must be related. The girl took a deep inhale of Leah's scent and then suddenly screamed, "Intruder!" Her face twisted with anger and her eyes burned with hatred. She was ready to defend her territory. She charged, but Leah quickly dodged, her warrior instincts kicking in. The girl shoved her back, and Leah stumbled before catching herself. When she regained her footing, her fists connected with the girl's jaw as a counterattack. The girl grabbed a vase and hurled it at her head. Leah dodged, running into the dining room. She pressed against the wall and waited. As soon as the girl came around the corner, Leah kicked her in the stomach. The girl gasped, clutching her abdomen, but recovered quickly and tackled Leah to the ground, straddling her. She punched Leah once more. Unlike Alec, Leah could easily overpower her. She flipped them, straddling the girl instead, and delivered 4 punches. She got up, ready to explain that she was the alpha's mate, but the girl lunged at her again. The girl grabbed the bowl of pancake mix and flung it at Leah's face. Leah squeezed her eyes shut, reopening them just as a frying pan struck her. Her vision blurred and distorted, and she shook her head to clear it. A growl slipped from Leah's lips, her eyes flickering red, an uncommon color, showing her wolf was rising. She charged, clawing the girl's face. For a split second, fear flashed in the girl's eyes as Leah rained down punches. The girl landed 2 hits, but Leah struck more than 10 before grabbing and throwing her into the living room. The girl crashed into the glass coffee table, shattering it into pieces. The girl stood quickly, and they continued sparring. Though she knew she was losing, she fought with all her strength. "Stop," someone demanded, but they kept going. Then a deep growl ripped through the room, separating them. It was Alec with Rem at his side, the same man who had stood with him during the ceremony. "Alec, there's an intruder in the hoe," the girl began. "Alice, quiet." Alec snapped. "This intruder is my mate." Leah kept her mouth shut, but inside, her wolf stirred with a hint of excitement. He was actually claiming her, even if just in words. Alice's eyes went wide at the revelation. She immediately dropped to the ground among the shards of glass, begging for forgiveness. Leah wanted to tell her it was okay, but Alec dismissed Alice with a cold expression. Alice ran upstairs in a hurry. "Damn, I missed a big fight." "Alice looks like she got hit by a bus, and you look fine," Rem remarked, glancing between Leah and the wreckage. Alec growled at his comment. Rem, don't make me regret my decision, he warned. Rem raised his hands in mock surrender. Okay. I'm just saying, you definitely don't have a weak mate. Damn, is that the coffee table? He looked genuinely surprised, more so that Leah hadn't backed down. Just go, Remington. I'll get Axe to clean this up, Alec muttered. Luna, Rem bowed to Leah. It is the Alpha's order that you shall stay at my house tonight. Leah left with Rem, but not before glancing back at Alec one last time. His face carried an almost unreadable expression, but there was guilt in his eyes as he faced her direction. Rem, and Leah walked to his car. The ride was short, though reckless. Rem drove like a speed demon. Leah had to admit, he scared her, but he was a skilled driver. When they arrived, she was struck with awe. She hadn't expected him to live in a place like this. His house was modern and white, clean and stylish. I had pack members put female clothes in the bathroom for you, since you looked like you'd had a rough day, Rem teased. Leah laughed so hard she sneezed. Wow, she said, amazed. So you're different from him, she asked as they approached the front door. You know, he wasn't always like that, Rem said firmly, clearly defending Alec. He opened the door and a strong, familiar smell hit Leah, stopping their conversation. Her eyes scanned the living room, and everything made sense. On the coffee table sat 2 large bags of weed alongside blunt wraps. On the kitchen table rested bongs, joints, and bowls already prepared. Posters decorated the walls, and even the couch was draped with a themed blanket. His habit was impossible to miss. Oops, forgot to clean up, Rem laughed nervously. Chapter 3. Here, just let me put all this stuff away, Remy said, attempting to gather up everything. Honestly, it's fine. It doesn't bother me, Leah told him. Okay, then that's good, he said. Leah looked around his house. It was obvious he loved smoking marijuana. So why am I here and not with Alec, she asked. At this point, she didn't mind being away from him, but she just wanted to know why. For some reason, her wolf yearned for him. She couldn't help but feel an emptiness when she was away from him. Remy looked nervous and then groaned out loud. Okay, I'll tell you. Just don't tell him. But first, what's your name? He spoke, then muttered something about being put in the middle of this. My name is Leah Indica, she stated, waiting for him to explain. He stifled a laugh. Yeah, my last name is Indica. Let's get on with our conversation, Leah said bluntly, and he busted into a fit of laughter. She smiled at his silliness. Well, Alec told me about the fight or argument, which I wanted you to know he feels a little bad about. And I'm sorry that he got carried away. He continued, he thought you'd feel more comfortable with someone not as monstrous as he put it. He explained, making Leah feel a little guilty. After all, she did antagonize him. So he does care a little bit, Leah dragged out. He does. I'm still not sure if he wants a mate, though. He gave her a sad, apologetic look. It's okay, she said softly, knowing he could hear her. He wasn't always like that, though, Remy said as they both sat down on the couch. What was he like then? Leah asked, because she did wonder what Alec was like before the incident of him losing his eyesight. Remy laughed as if recalling old memories. Well, when he was actually normal. 8 years old, that was all Remy was. 10 years old, that was all Alec was. They were both young boys and the best of friends. They were curious children who loved to play, and the fresh snow had laid beautifully on the ground. Knock, knock, knock. Alec was eager to play with Remy that morning, especially since school was canceled because of the snowstorm from the night before. Rem's mom opened the door. Can Rem come out to play today? Alec asked, using his big brown doe eyes as an advantage. Rem rushed out the door and tackled him to the ground. Both boys laughed and played in the snow for what seemed like hours, having snowball wars and building snowmen. As the snow continued to fall, they began to pack down a hill to go sledding. They laughed endlessly. Alec, check this out. Remy stood on a sled and went down the hill. Halfway down, he fell, hitting a tree headfirst. Alec grew very scared because Remy wasn't moving. He ran as fast as he could down the hill without slipping. Rem? Rem, wake up. Alec turned Rem over, and there was blood running from his nose. Alec picked him up and carried him to the door by himself. Rem's mom met them at the door and ushered both boys inside. Alec was in tears because he thought his only friend was going to die, and it had been his idea to go sledding. Once Rem's mom was done giving her son medical treatment, she returned to the living room and comforted the crying 10-year-old Alec. That shows how passionate he was before the incident. He actually wanted to be a doctor, Remy chuckled. Oh, Leah said softly. How many days has it been since the ceremony? She asked. 2, he answered. Leah thought it had only been 1 day. Oh well, I know that Alec lost his eyesight at war. What was the war about? She asked. No one ever knew the real truth, which was strange. I can't tell you. Just wait. In time, you'll find out. Just talk to him, he advised her. Leah snorted, even if it was unladylike. Yeah, last time that didn't end well. And I deserve to know. I'm his mate. I want to help him, Remington. Please. She begged. She could tell he was caving by the look in his eyes. He was also having an internal battle with his wolf. Well, he began, but a knock at the door interrupted him. I got it. He quickly got up, probably trying to avoid their conversation. He stood at the doorway with someone, and a few words were exchanged. Alice then entered and Rem went upstairs. She sat down beside Leah. Luna, she nodded out of respect. Leah wasn't used to that title, but her wolf loved it. Please call me Leah, she told her. She knew most people in the pack were supposed to address her differently. However, she felt like Alice was an exception who could call her by her first name. Okay, can I talk to you for a sec? Alice asked. Leah nodded her head. Okay, I wanted to know if maybe we can start over. I know now that I shouldn't have done that. I'm very sorry. Maybe we could be friends. Alice told her, her brown eyes shining with hope. No, Leah simply said. What? Why? Alice asked, confused. Because I don't want to be friends with you. I want you to be my best friend in this pack. Alice's eyes practically popped out of her head. Really? She exclaimed. Yes, Leah confirmed. Alice then hugged and tightly squeezed her, the same way Xena used to hug her. When Alice pulled back, she noticed Leah looked a little sad. What's wrong? Alice asked. I just miss my family and friends. Especially Xena. She was my best friend. She always hugged me the way you did, Leah said. Alice's face dropped at her words. I am so sorry. Can you not contact them? She asked. No, my old phone is with my parents, and even if I had it, Alex said I wasn't allowed to communicate with them. He doesn't want me to leave, Leah told her. Alice's face turned angry for a moment, but it soon faded. Yeah, I understand. She continued. What if I took you shopping? Obviously, you need new clothes. Then maybe I can get you a phone to pass time. Then you could butter up Alec into talking to your family. She planned it out. I'm not sure if that would even work. I think he hates me, Leah said. Oh, Alice replied. It's worth a try though, Leah told her. Maybe tomorrow we could go shopping, she suggested, trying to brighten Alice's day. You know, I really like your blonde hair with green eyes. It's a good combination, Alice said. Thanks. She stood up from the couch. Okay, I'll be going now. She left, and then Remy came downstairs and sat on the couch beside Leah with a rolled-up blunt in his hand. Are you smoking that now? She asked. Do you not like the smoke? Rem questioned. I don't mind it, she replied, making sure he knew she had no problem with it. After all, she had secrets of her own. He grabbed the lighter from the coffee table, but a deviant plan came to her mind. He tried to light the rolled herb, but as she stared at the flame, it extinguished. He lit it again. Once more, the flame disappeared. On his third attempt, she subtly raised her hand, and the flame grew slightly. He dropped the lighter in shock. What the? He gasped. Allow me. She picked up the lighter, perfectly lit the roll, and handed it back to him. Relief washed over her. Her magic had worked without trouble this time. Stupid lighter, he muttered. She knew she wasn't supposed to reveal her abilities to anyone other than her parents and former alpha. But things had changed. Her wolf instincts told her she could trust Rem, and deep down, she wanted to share her secret with someone. Her family carried many secrets. Her grandmother had lived for thousands of years, and when she met her grandfather, her fated mate, she cast a spell granting him immortality. Immortality was usually reserved for vampires, lycans, and the original witches, but her grandmother's power defied tradition. As a witch, she passed down many gifts. Her mother, for example, could sense and influence emotions the same way she had calmed her daughter on the way to the mating ceremony. Out of 4 siblings, only Blake and she had powers. Blake could control water and she could control fire. Their grandmother, a legendary witch, was skilled in nearly everything. Rem, that wasn't the lighter, she said. What do you mean? He asked in between puffs. Look. She pointed at the fireplace, empty and cold. Focusing hard, she willed a flame to appear. Fire was difficult to control, and she hadn't practiced much. Soon enough, crackling sounds filled the air and flames consumed the wood. Rem dropped the roll in shock. His eyes widened as he stumbled backward. What? Was that you? His reaction wasn't what she hoped for, but she couldn't expect calm acceptance either. Rem, calm down, she urged, standing and reaching to steady him. She bent to pick up the roll. By the way, dropping this is a party foul, she teased lightly. He managed a nervous chuckle and set it aside on the table. How did you do that? My grandmother is a witch, she revealed. He blinked. So crossbreeding is real? I thought it wasn't accepted. Well, the elders have come around. My grandfather sits on the council. He's changed their minds on many things, she explained. But please, don't tell anyone about this. I'll tell Alec in my own time. Of course, Rem promised. Then, with a grin, he added, on one condition. Like this again. She smirked. Only if I get a turn. His eyebrows rose. You smoke too. Occasionally, she admitted. She focused on the roll, and after a minute of effort, it sparked to life. She laughed softly, still not great at controlling it. She passed it back and he understood. They shared it until it was finished. You know, Rem said, glancing at her. Alec is lucky to have you. She blushed. Why? His eyes gleamed. I've always wanted a mate. And I know somewhere deep down, Alec does too, even if he won't admit it. Seriously, you're the best possible mate for him. You can fight, bend fire, and you're laid back. Can you cook too? I love cooking, she exclaimed, grinning. Food was one of her favorite joys. Would you cook tomorrow morning? He asked hopefully. Sure, she agreed. Her gaze drifted to the wooden coffee table where a picture sat, a little girl hugging Rem. That's my little sister, he explained softly. She was 2 in that photo. She's 4 now. After my mom died from a rare illness, my father moved to another pack. She's with him, and I haven't seen her in a year. She looked out the window. Darkness had fallen. Yeah, it's pretty late, she noted. Guest room is the second door to the left upstairs, he said. She thanked him for his kindness and started toward the stairs. Wait, he called, disappearing into the kitchen. He returned carrying a bucket of water with a large glass piece floating in it, already prepared. Here, I know you could use some. It's been a long day. And don't give up on Alec, okay? He's complicated, but give him a chance. She smiled at his loyalty to Alec. It was endearing. I won't give up, she promised. They shared a final smile before wishing each other good night. Upstairs, she entered a cozy room with golden walls. She sat on the bed, finally allowing herself to reflect. She missed her family deeply, and though Alec had taken her from them, she still wondered if he could be saved. She wouldn't give up on him, not yet. Wanting to clear her thoughts, she showered and changed. Sitting on the bed afterward, she exhaled slowly, letting the day melt away. She used the glass piece for a few minutes, each breath easing her worries. Finally, her head sank into the pillow, and for the first time in a long while, she drifted off with a smile, lost in good thoughts. Chapter 4. The next morning, Leah woke up to find Rem handing her a set of clothes so she could take a shower. He mentioned that he was going to wake his lungs up. When she was done, she made her way down to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. She pulled pans out of the cabinet and collected food from the fridge, planning to make enough for 3 wolves. In the back of her mind, she hoped Rem would invite Alec over to join them. A small smile appeared on her face when she found the pancake mix. She was genuinely happy to have made a new friend. About an hour later, breakfast was ready. "Whoa, what is all this food for?" Rem asked, staring hungrily at the spread. "Not that I'm complaining, but that's a lot of food for just 2 people. "Well, I was hoping you could invite Alec for breakfast," Leah said as she turned off the stove and began setting the table, after clearing off the clutter piled across it. "Yeah, about that. He will not come, okay?" Rem replied, though it came out more like a question. "Okay, but why?" she pressed. "It's not you. Ever since he was blinded, he's done everything in his power to fight against it. He trained and worked harder to be able to do normal things again. He can walk and fight well, but there are things he still has trouble with. And as strange as it sounds, he can't eat comfortably. He has trouble eating his food without making a mess, but he can still fight. It's strange. Anyway, he doesn't like eating with others, so he always eats by himself. He feels that people would judge him," Rem explained. "But I know we wouldn't judge him. Maybe irritate him a little, but not judge him," Leah said, trying to justify both herself and Remington. Guilt crept in when she remembered how she had once told Alec that he couldn't see he had a good mate because he was blind. Even if it had been true, she regretted saying it. After all, Alec couldn't control what had happened to him. "It's a self-conscious thing with him," Rem continued. "He literally hates himself every day for not being able to do simple things. The truth is, the reason why he can fight better than he can eat is because his wolf takes most of the control now. He can't perform normal human functions well, but he can perform animalistic functions." Leah dropped the conversation. She couldn't understand why Alec hated himself so much. He shouldn't, just because he was blind. "Okay," she muttered, and both of them sat down to eat breakfast. She wondered when the last time Rem had eaten was. Halfway through breakfast, Leah's curiosity rose. "What started the war?" she asked. Rem cleared his throat, setting his fork down as nervousness flickered across his face. "What's wrong? Like, what's so bad about talking about the war? Wasn't it like 8 years ago?" she questioned. "Well, they do call it a war for a reason. It wasn't cupcakes and rainbows. Physically, the wounds of everyone have mostly healed, but the emotional ones not so much. Alec and Alice suffered the most," Rem said. "Yeah, I can understand that. But I have a feeling you're going to want me to get the story from Alec." "Huh?" "When it's time. You get a better version of the truth, because honestly, I don't know the whole story." "No one really does except for Alec and Alice," he admitted. "Wait a minute," Leah said. "So the pack doesn't even know the real reason why they went to war, but they still followed Alec's lead?" She wondered what kind of alpha he truly was to his pack members. "Yeah, he's still a great alpha. He may have anger issues with his members once in a while, especially when it comes to Christ. Never mind. Anyway, the food is good. Thank you," Rem said as he returned to eating. "Chris? Who is that?" Leah asked. Rem cringed. "Do not worry about her," he replied. Leah's wolf suddenly stirred, interested in the conversation. Leah knew exactly what she wanted to know. "Her? Is she with Alec?" Leah trailed off. "What?" Rem gasped, then laughed. "No way. Christy gets on Alec's nerves because she's practically always throwing herself at him." Leah was relieved that Alec didn't like her, though her wolf growled at the thought of another she-wolf trying to gain their mate's attention. "I remember one time she almost got banned from the pack," Rem laughed, though he still noticed the uneasy look on Leah's face. "Leah, it's all right. She means nothing to him." "I mean, I can't say the same about me," he teased, wiggling his eyebrows with a devilish smirk. Leah froze, staring at him in shock. "You said you didn't have a mate." He chuckled. "I don't. Hey, though, on a serious note, Christy is nothing. They call her the pack flirt for a reason," Rem added. Leah knew she had nothing to worry about, but her wolf still growled in frustration. I might need to go on a run soon, she said. Okay, maybe I could take you on one, Rem suggested, and they finished breakfast. Afterward, they put on their shoes and were about to head out when Rem said he had to exercise his lungs first. He rolled a blunt and Leah joined him. How old are you and Alec? She asked as they smoked. Alec is 25 and I'm 23, Rem answered. Oh my God. You guys are old, Leah teased, half freaking out. Why so worried? How old are you? He asked. 18, she replied. Oh, that isn't bad. It's only a 7-year difference. Plus, you're 18, he said. Yeah, I guess that's all right, Leah agreed. Someone knocked on the door. Alec walked in, looking visibly upset for some reason. Leah's wolf rejoiced at the sight of him. She wanted nothing more than to be swept up in his arms. She went up to him and lightly touched his arm. Are you okay? She asked softly, wanting to be there for him. No. Get off, he hissed. Leah quickly retracted her hand. Rem, we need to talk about pack matters. Alec turned toward Remington. Their eyes glazed over as they used the pack link to communicate, clearly excluding her from whatever problems they were dealing with. Leah, would you mind going upstairs? Rem asked gently. I'll go, she sighed. Rem handed her a small bowl with herbs in it. She started walking upstairs when suddenly she was yanked back, though she didn't fall. Her eyes trailed up to the hand on her shoulder. Instead of meeting Alec's faded brown eyes, she met his wolf's gaze for the first time. In wolf vision, they could only see heat and body outlines. He couldn't actually see her facial features, but at least he could see her silhouette. She looked into his striking eyes. Bright brown with golden flecks swirled in his wolf's gaze. His nostrils flared. He was angry. Give it to me, he demanded harshly. No, Leah said bluntly. Stop being difficult, he raised his voice. Stop being controlling, she retorted. At times like this, her temper always got the better of her. His grip on her hand tightened painfully. She yanked her hand away from his grasp. His eyes returned to normal, showing he was back in control. She tried to walk upstairs again, but he grabbed her hair, refusing to let her go. Rem intervened quickly, prying Alec's grip off. Alec, that's enough, Rem said firmly. Do you even know what you're doing? His irritation grew. Don't take that tone with me, Remington. I know exactly what I'm doing, Alec smirked. What? Are you happy with hurting your mate? Rem's voice rose with each word. Alec's eyes shifted back to his wolf's, and his wolf's deep, resonant voice boomed. Understand who you're talking to. Rem instantly dropped into submission. Leah struggled not to do the same. Alec's eyes returned to normal, and he turned toward her. Come on. Let's go, he said gruffly. Sorry, Rem. Leah muttered quietly as Alec walked out the door. Rem gave her a small grin. It's fine, don't worry about it. Besides, I'm just focused on helping you out. She smiled weakly and followed Alec, trying to hold back tears. She didn't know how she was supposed to cope with what had just happened. Leah climbed into the back seat while Alice drove, with Alec in the passenger seat. Alice smiled and waved cheerfully at Leah, not wanting to bring down her mood. Leah smiled back. The car ride to Alec's house was silent. When they arrived, Alec and Leah got out and headed toward the door. Hey, Alice called out. I talked to Alec about going shopping for clothes, and he said it's fine. So maybe I could pick you up in about 2 hours. That would be great, Leah replied. As Alice drove off, Leah finally took in the appearance of Alec's house. It wasn't a pack house, but a cozy cottage, big enough for a family. Blue flowers decorated the outside, and a small children's playground sat to the side. Inside, she glanced at the microwave clock. It read 11 o'clock. I'm sorry for hurting you, Alec said suddenly. It's okay. I'm sorry for calling you names and saying things I shouldn't have. That was hurtful. Leah apologized too, even though she knew she had less to regret. I still don't want a mate, Alec stated firmly. And why not? Why don't you want someone to care for you? She asked. I can care for myself, he argued. Leah sighed, dropping the conversation before it escalated further. But the thoughts swirled in her head until she finally blurted, then let me go back to my family. Please, Alec. I haven't talked to them in 3 days. He growled lowly. That's alpha to you. She rolled her eyes. And no, he added sharply. Why not? You've made it clear you don't want a mate, and all I've tried to do is be a good one for you. Obviously, you don't want that. So what do you even want in life? I've also made it clear that only my wolf wants you, he said, moving into the living room and sitting down in the armchair. And to answer your question, what I want most is my eyesight back. But that's not possible. He leaned back in the chair. So you're saying if you had your eyesight, we might have a chance? Leah asked quietly. No, he said simply, then cleared his throat. I'd probably go after Christy. Leah stared in shock, jealousy and hurt twisting inside her. Why won't you give me a chance? She whispered, but he was already asleep, snoring. Defeated, she decided she wanted to be alone. She walked back to the bedroom she had stayed in when she first arrived, Alec's room. Chapter 5. Leah locked the door and decided to practice a little with her gift. In her old pack, she had received special tutoring for her fire abilities, which hadn't helped much. She was still at a beginner level, because there hadn't been anyone exactly like her to guide her. She opened her hand, and a small flame flickered on her palm, but it quickly died out. Pathetic, she huffed under her breath. She tried again and again, but the results were the same. Frustration surged through her, emotions hitting all at once. Anger, sadness, fear. She worried for her future, missed her family deeply, and was furious at everything around her. Jealousy clawed at her because she couldn't stop thinking about Christy. A storm of emotions and thoughts raged inside her, and suddenly it felt uncontrollable. She growled in rage, and her body was consumed by flames. Ah, she panicked, swatting at the fire as she hopped around, probably looking like a dancing figure. Soon, the flames vanished. What's going on? Alec shouted as he crashed through the door. Leah stared at him in shock, unable to find words. Well, this better be good. I almost had a heart attack. Is that fire I smell? He demanded. I killed a spider, Leah finally managed to say. He rolled his eyes and left the room. Leah looked at herself in the mirror, astonished. No burn marks, no injuries. It had never happened before, and the best part was it didn't hurt. She glanced at the clock and realized it would soon be time to go shopping with Alice. She redid her hair, washed her face, and spent the rest of the time exploring the house. Walking down the white halls of the second floor, Leah peeked into every room. Most were empty, but one held art supplies. She quietly shut the door and continued walking, about to head downstairs, when she overheard a conversation. Darn it. Rem told you, didn't he? Alec's voice came from his office. Leah felt guilty for eavesdropping, but something inside her urged her to listen. She peeked through the cracked door and realized he was on the phone, his back facing her. Alec, stop cussing. And yes, which is why I want to come down, a feminine voice said. Alec muttered more under his breath. Jenna, there's no need to come down, Alec seethed. Leah wondered if he was ever calm. This is your mate, Jenna began, but Alec cut her off. No, this is not what I want, he snapped. What do you mean you don't want your mate? Jenna asked. Things are complicated right now, he gritted out. And Jenna, please don't come down. Alec paced in his office. Fine, she muttered, ending the call. He sat at his desk, resting his head in his hands. Why does she have to be paired with someone like me, he muttered. Leah's heart skipped a beat, pounding fast in her chest. She backed up, realizing she needed to leave before he heard her. She ran to the living room and laid down on the couch for 5 minutes. Hearing no one follow, she assumed he hadn't noticed. She napped until the doorbell rang, knowing it would be Alice. Alice hugged her when she opened the door, and they walked to her car, chatting lightly about the places they'd visit. Leah fastened her seatbelt and glanced back at the house. Through the window, she saw Alec using his wolf vision, a hint of sadness in his expression. She quickly focused on getting into the car. At that moment, she felt a wave of pity for him. She couldn't imagine never being able to see the face of her mate, only shapes and silhouettes. She wanted to help, to be accepted and to do anything she could for him, even if it sounded reckless. Hello? Hello. Earth to Leah. Are you there? Alice waved in front of her face. Oh yes. Yeah, I'm here. Leah snapped out of her trance. You okay? You just spaced out, Alice asked. Yeah, I'm fine, Leah assured her. So, where do you want to go first at the clothing store? Alice asked. Well, I don't like makeup. Let's get clothes first, hair stuff, and then the other necessities, Leah planned. Then food, Alice added. Leah perked up. Yes, she shouted happily and laughed a little. Alice smiled at her. You have a pretty smile. Thanks. You do too. I forgot about the phone, Leah chuckled. Yeah. Alice turned up the music, and Leah enjoyed the ride. Besides the calming woods outside, she noticed how empty the streets were. Strange, because the compact town was private for the pack. It should have been busy like her old pack. So, what store is your favorite? And don't worry about money. The limit is sky high. Alec owns 2 big corporations here in Romania, Alice added proudly. I don't know. I honestly hate shopping. My mom always shopped for me. Leah laughed along with her. The car ride was quick, and Leah liked that. Like Rem, Alice drove fast. When they reached the mall, Alice strutted into the store, confidence and style radiating. Any wolf could tell she was from an alpha bloodline. For a moment, it almost felt natural, like when Leah had been with Xena. Leah and Alice first went to a few clothing stores. Leah picked out multiple leggings and cute tops, her favorite items. She also found some jean shorts and a few hair accessories. They spent a good amount of time in the clothing section, picking up shirts and pants before moving on to Leah's necessities. After that, they visited the food court, then a phone store. How old are you? I'm 18, Leah asked Alice. I'm 20, Alice replied. On the way home, they agreed that Alice would keep Leah's new phone until Alec said she could have one. Leah didn't want anything to go wrong. Before handing the phone over, she quickly sent a text to her parents and Xena. Don't worry, I'm safe. Leah. Alice dropped Leah off at Alec's house. When she walked in, Alec greeted her. That was quick for women, he said. Yeah, I'm not a big shopper. And I don't really like makeup, Leah replied, and Alec muttered something under his breath. Leah wanted to have a decent conversation with her mate. She set her bags down. What is your favorite color? She asked, quickly covering her mouth afterward. What? I'm blind, he remarked sharply. She hadn't meant to say that. She wasn't used to talking to a shifter with an injury that took away one of their senses. All the werewolves she had met so far had been healthy, and it showed. Then, before you lost your eyesight, she insisted, still wanting a conversation. Why do you want to know? He questioned. Just please answer, she pleaded. Why? She felt like banging her head against a wall because he was so stubborn. Because, Alec, if I'm staying here, don't you think I at least have the right to know who I'm with? Leah explained. She wanted to get to know the real Alec. There was no escaping this situation. Black, he answered, snapping her out of her thoughts. She grabbed her bags, ready to head upstairs, planning to come back down and try talking to him again. She was about to tell him she'd be back, but he spoke first. What's yours? Leah stopped dead in her tracks, eyes widening. She hadn't expected him to ask that. Mine's black too. That's the first thing we have in common, she said, noticing a slight change in his harsh demeanor. Halfway up the stairs, Leah told Alec, I want to come back down and talk to you. She didn't know if he would stay to talk, but hoped he would. She understood he had built barriers because of the war and his past, but that didn't give him the right to hurt her. Forgiveness would take time. He had nearly choked the life out of her. Upstairs, Leah searched the hallway for a spare room. She didn't want to share a room with Alec just yet. Sighing, she set her bags down in a room across from his. No one had stayed in it before. There was no scent of anyone. She walked downstairs to find Alec sitting on the couch. She sat beside him, but without a word, he got up and moved to the recliner. Leah felt a pang of sadness, realizing he did it to get away from her. So, let's talk, he said harshly. My parents are dead, he added coldly. I'm blind, he continued, venom dripping from his words. And last but not least, I don't want a mate. What more is there to talk about? He shouted angrily, laughing. Leah was stunned. She finally processed what he had said and tried to respond. Okay, calm down. Shut up, he snapped. Leah flinched. I'm just trying to be here for you, she said. I don't need your help, he yelled, stepping closer. Alec, I'm your mate. He slapped her. Leah brought her hand up to her cheek. By now, they were both standing. I'm not your mate, he said, raising his hand again. Don't touch me, she threatened, trying to hold back tears. He was inches from her face. I will do whatever I want, he said, resting his hand on her back, then sliding it down. Leah's body heated with a mixture of adrenaline and anger. She had to stand up for herself. She slapped him hard across the cheek, the sound echoing in the house. He struck her on the head, and she fell to the ground, clutching her head in pain. She looked into his eyes and saw nothing. His gaze sickened her. Why? I'm your mate, she gasped, confused. I want my eyesight, not a mate, he crouched down and said, then walked away. Leah slowly stood, holding her head, and walked to her room. As she reached for the doorknob, she heard glass shattering and other objects breaking across the house. She couldn't believe there was even more destruction in him. Chapter 6. Leah's head was pounding, and she sat on the bed, massaging her temples. She began to look around her new room to distract herself from the pain. The large room had 3 closets, light baby blue walls, and a carpeted floor. She opened the closets to unpack her belongings and discovered a full bathroom hidden behind closet doors. Leah was thankful, especially when she felt blood trickle slowly down her face. She went in to clean her head, pressed on the small cut until it stopped bleeding, and wiped away the rest of the blood. Afterward, she unpacked all her bags and organized her room. During her shopping trip with Alice, Leah had purchased a nice tea maker, which she set up immediately, and she also plugged in her high-tech alarm clock. Sitting in her room, she thought about what had just happened. She didn't know why, but she still wanted to try to help Alec. Perhaps it was in her nature to help everyone, or maybe she believed this wasn't Alec's true self. She wanted to see who he really was, and she had always wanted a mate. Her stomach growled, and she realized she was quite hungry. For the first time, without fear of attack, Leah prepared food in the kitchen. She was almost done when she heard footsteps behind her. Quickly, she grabbed a kitchen knife and turned around. Really? Alec said, his tone unusually calm. Well, sorry, I've already been attacked once, Leah said, not counting the times Alec had attacked her. Alec moved closer, drawn by the smell of the food, and she stepped away. What is this? He asked. Shrimp and chicken Alfredo, she replied, turning off the stove. Alec was quiet for a moment. Can I have some? Alec asked, and his stomach growled on cue. Yes, of course, Leah said. I'll eat mine in my office, he stated. Leah's eyes widened with sadness. What? No, her heart skipped a beat. What do you mean? No. Alec acted as if it was a foreign word. His hand flew up, and she flinched, but he was just scratching his head. Leah stared at him for a moment, trying to find the right words. I made this. So you have to eat with me in the dining room, she finally managed to say. You can't give me orders, he replied. I made it, she said. I'll make more if you eat with me. She offered, and he growled. This is not happening, Leah interrupted by shoving a piece of warm food into his mouth. He chewed and finally relented. Okay, I'll eat with you, he agreed. Leah poured all the food into one bowl. She had only made a small amount for one werewolf. Walking into the dining room, she turned on the light, handed Alec the bowl, and sat down at the end of the table. She watched him eat desperately. The fork often missed the food, frustrating him, and he got upset when he accidentally stabbed himself. Leah noticed the urgency with which he ate. When's the last time you had a meal? She asked. 2 weeks ago, if you're counting human food. I'm tired of eating just animals, he muttered. That's unhealthy, Leah said, thinking about him not eating for 2 weeks. She figured he had hunted animals and eaten them in wolf form. Though it was unpleasant, it was a way for him to survive. I take pills. They suppress my appetite, he muttered again. Leah could tell he didn't want to talk, so she remained quiet. She felt that this was progress, even without words. Rem had said Alec always ate alone. Yet here she was sharing a meal with him. Perhaps it was true what they said. One way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Regardless of what anyone said, Leah wanted to make sure Alec didn't go hungry. If I make 3 meals a day for us, will you eat in the dining room with me? You're hungry, and I have no problem doing that, she asked. He stopped eating for a moment, then finally replied, I guess so, and continued eating. You're not eating, he questioned. No, Leah said simply. Why, he asked. I gave mine to you, she explained. You gave me yours? He looked surprised. A knock at the door interrupted them. Alec's wolf eyes flared, and he immediately got up to answer it. Rem walked into the dining room behind him. It smells good in here. Leah, nice cooking, he said, staring at Alec in mild shock. Thanks, Leah said cheerfully. Well, are you guys attending the opening training tournament? It'll be fun, Rem said, always so energetic, likely influenced by his cheerful mood. I don't think we will, Alec told him. Tournament? Leah asked, remembering the tournaments in her old pack. She and her mom usually took first and second place in the women's division. Yeah, Leah, you'd be good at that. Right? You're a warrior, aren't you? We talked about this the other night, Rem added, swaying slightly and slurring his words. Rem, you're drunk, go home, Alec said. I need to go pee, man, Rem said and walked out. Alec started walking up the stairs. Wait, I'd like to go to your tournament, Leah called after him. No, he replied, turning back to stand in front of her. Why, she asked. Because I said so, he retorted. I can fight, she said, trying to convince him. I'm actually a warrior. It's in my blood. Yeah, not against my fighters you're not, he remarked smartly. His eyes hardened and his stance stiffened. Then let me show you, Leah said confidently. I can't see it anyway, so it's worthless, Alec said coldly. Leah shouted back, yes you can. Alec didn't like her comeback. He growled, and his wolf eyes re-emerged. Exactly. You can see me through your wolf. Even though it's thermal vision, you can see my body. And all wolves can tell their mate even in thermal vision, Leah tried to convince him. Alec quickly stepped toward her and pinned her against the wall. His inner wolf was in control. A low growl rumbled as he leaned close to her face, lowering his head to her neck to inhale her scent. His fingers traced lightly up her knee to her thigh. Leah panicked and pushed him away. She wasn't ready for this, and she didn't know when she would be. His human eyes returned, full of anger. See, can we just please go? Leah asked, wanting to leave before things escalated. She also needed to release her built-up anger and sadness internally. Fine, Alec replied unexpectedly. When you get the consequences, don't come crying to me. Leah ignored his words and happily went upstairs to change her clothes for the fight. She walked back down to meet Alec and Remington. The warm summer night surrounded them as they headed to the recreational house. Leah followed behind Rem, while Alec stayed close to her. It was clear Alec was wealthy. His pack's land was enormous. Leah noticed the layout mirrored her old pack setup, though it was eerily empty of people. Flowers and garden decorations were well kept, and a large tree stood at the center of the buildings, wrapped in a black ribbon, a wolf tradition to honor a deceased pack member. Alec's arm nearly brushed Leah's as they walked. He seemed to want to stay close, ensuring he knew where she was at all times. Neither spoke. The silence made the walk easier. When they arrived, wrestling mats were laid out, and the tournament was already underway. Leah could see the women's division had begun. Alec approached a desk where an elderly woman sat. Hello, Alpha, she greeted kindly. Hello, Mrs. Jerry. Can I have someone enter the tournament? Alec asked. The familiarity in their exchange showed they knew each other well. I suppose, but the tournament has already started, she replied. Okay, have Leah here. Alec guided Leah forward. Have her face the last woman who won a match. They will compete for that spot, The winner moves on. The loser is out. Mrs. Jerry scanned her papers, then nodded. What's your full name? She asked Leah, glancing at her computer. Leah Marie Indica, she replied. Mrs. Jerry typed the name and printed a paper, giving Leah a copy of the roster. Leah noted that she would face a girl named Jasmine in the next match. Everyone noticed Alex's presence, but Leah held their gazes the longest. Some whispered, confused by the newcomer. An announcement over the speakers declared, "Attention! A new roster has been updated. Check immediately." Who are you facing? Alec asked. A girl named Jasmine, Leah said. She's tough, but her stance is weak. Go for her feet, Alec instructed. Leah was surprised, both that he knew about Jasmine's weaknesses and that he was helping her. Are you trying to help me? She asked. Are you complaining? He responded sarcastically. Leah's number was called, and she made her way to the desk to check in. Be careful, Alec said quietly, his wolf eyes now visible. Only tap-outs or knockouts are acceptable. Go, the referee shouted, giving her a hard look. Leah's opponent, a mixed-race girl her age, stepped forward. Leah's first move was a kick to Jasmine's feet. Jasmine fell, but quickly got up as the crowd cheered. Jasmine! Jasmine! Go, Jasmine! Leah was the underdog. They circled. Then Leah threw a right hook, locking Jasmine and taking her to the ground. Leah kneeled her opponent's face, grabbed her arm, wrapped her legs around it, and applied an arm lock. Jasmine tapped out immediately. The crowd fell silent as the referee raised Leah's hand in victory. Leah slowly walked back to Alec, aware of the stares on her. Impressive, he said, his voice monotonous. Thanks, Leah replied, unsure of how sincere he was. I'm being serious, he clarified. Leah smiled faintly, looking into Alec's faded eyes. This tournament will last all week. This is the first day, so you're lucky, he said, walking beside her. Leah sat, but Alec remained standing. You're not sitting, she asked. I can't, he said, looking away. Leah stood and lightly took his hand. I can guide you, she whispered, unnoticed by the others. She understood his need not to show weakness. Slowly, she helped him to a chair. Who's next? Alec asked quickly. A girl named Natasha Williams, Leah said. Alec said nothing. Leah's number was soon called. Good luck, Alec said, his eyes shifting back. The referee started the match. Natasha put up a good fight. Both landed around 20 punches, but Leah's were stronger, giving her the advantage. The winning blow was a kick to the face, drawing cheers from the crowd. Leah won the next 3 matches, drawing more attention. Some pack members bowed slightly when she walked back to Alec. So you're a good fighter, Alec said. Thank you. I'm underestimated, Leah chuckled. Yeah, I get that now, he replied. Late that night, they returned home. Leah cleaned the antique-looking kitchen and dining room before going to bed out of boredom. She observed the old furniture. A dining table that looked worth thousands, a cupboard filled with vintage glassware, and a breathtakingly styled kitchen with cast-iron pots and pans. Secretly, it was her dream house. Alec went upstairs to his room. After finishing her chores, Leah took a quick shower in her room and made herself a cup of tea to ease into a peaceful sleep. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this first part of Leah's journey. If this story pierced your heart, if Leah's pain, her resilience, and her forbidden bond with the blind, cruel alpha left you breathless, then stay with me. Because Series 2 will drag you deeper. It will test loyalties, break hearts, and reveal truths darker than either of them ever imagined. Click on the screen to dive straight into the Series 2 of this story. This is just the beginning of Leah and her cruel alpha's destiny. See you there.